Hi everyone, welcome back to Fun in the Kitchen with Emma. How's everybody doing today? I hope you're all doing really good. So, today we have a special guest appearance at the beginning of our episode. Like I said, I want you all to meet Riley. This is my new puppy. Say hi, Riley. Hi. So this is my new sweet boy. And I just wanted to introduce everybody to him because I'm so excited to have him. And he's been such a good boy so far. So he's not going to be in our whole video. I just wanted him to say hi. So, hi. All right. Put him down so we can get started. All right. So you guys know the drill. First things first, when working with food, we're going to wash our hands, especially after I just touched the puppy. So we're gonna wash our hands with soap and warm water for 20 seconds. And so you can count to 20, you can sing a song, just make sure you hit that 20-second mark. So today we're going to sing the ABCs again, just like we did last week. So warm water and soap. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me? When you're scrubbing, you want to make sure you get all in between your fingers. Get your fingertips and under your fingernails and get the backs of your hands really good too. All right, so we'll rinse our hands off. Get all that soap off. We'll dry them off again. So I'm super excited for today's treat that we're gonna make. You can have it as a snack or as breakfast. We're gonna be making homemade Pop-Tarts today. This is a super easy, super simple recipe that only has 3 ingredients. So that makes it nice when you're going to the grocery store. So we're gonna move right over here to our workstation where I have everything set up already. So our 3 ingredients that we'll need today are pie crust that's already ready to bake, preserves. You can use any fruit you want. I chose to use strawberries. And frosting. Again, you can use any flavor you want. If you don't want sprinkles, you don't have to use sprinkles. I just thought that the rainbow chip would be really fun to use to give it that pop of color like a regular Pop-Tart. So like I said, we're going to be using fruit preserves. And the difference between fruit preserves and jelly and jam is the amount of the actual fruit that's still in it. So preserves have the most bit of fruit actually still in them. So they'll actually have like chunks of strawberries still in them versus jelly that's completely smooth or jam that's just got like a little bit of fruit here and there. So preserves have the most fruit chunks still in them and the biggest chunks. Like I said, I'm going to be using strawberry, but you can use any flavor you want. If you don't want as many chunks, you could use jelly or jam if you'd like. There's blueberry, there's raspberry, peach, there's all kinds. You can use whatever you want. So, to get started, I have a baking sheet. And normally I would line it with parchment paper, but I am out of parchment paper. So I have this nifty silicone cooking mat that I'm going to use instead. And if you don't have either, then you can just use like a nonstick cooking spray. This is gonna keep your crust from one, sticking to the pan, and then also it's gonna keep your preserves, if they happen to explode and leak out of your crust, it's going to keep them from sticking to your pan and causing a really hard cleanup mess. So to get started, we are going to open up our oops, sorry, my brother's home. Dogs are barking. Okay, so to get started, we're gonna have the already ready to bake pie crust. This comes in a box of 2. I actually have already made some that are cooling right over there, so that way I can show you guys how to frost them after. And so we're gonna open this up. And it'll be all rolled up like this. And so you carefully want to unroll it. Just like that. And if you see the white stuff on there, if you look, you can see some white stuff on there. That is just flour to keep the dough from sticking to itself while it's rolled up. So I'm going to adjust this camera a little bit more. So as you can see, our dough is round. And we're going to be wanting to cut rectangles out of this. So I'm going to show you a way that I did my other ones to make them a little bit more even and make them more rectangular. We're going to be using a pizza cutter to slice our dough. So pizza cutters can be sharp, so be careful or ask for help if you need some. While we're doing this, I'm going to take one side of the dough and fold it until it forms a straight line over here. Then I'm going to do the same with the other side. Okay, so my dough looks like this, and now as you see it's a little bit straighter, so that way I can get a little bit more even. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to unfold those where I just folded them, and where they're creased I'm going to slice along that line to cut that piece completely off. So here, I'm going to move this out of the way so that we can see a little bit better. There we go. And so like I said, we'll just slice right along the crease line. If you look, right here is the crease line from where I folded it over. So we'll slice right along those just to get it to where it's a little bit straighter. And we'll just put them to the side right there for now. So now my dough looks like this. And so you can cut this into either 6 pieces or 4 pieces or 8 pieces, just depending on how big you would like your Pop-Tarts to be. I'm going to cut mine into 6 pieces, so that way they turn out to be about this size. So pretty close to the size of a normal Pop-Tart. Oops, I forgot to preheat my oven. We're going to preheat our ovens to 425 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, so now we have our oven preheating, and so we're going to slice our Pop-Tarts to where they're going to be 6 pieces. So I'm going to do one slice just right down the middle, so just like right there, just like that. You can see it, it's sliced right down the middle. And then I'm going to do 3 lines down. So we'll do 1. Actually, we're going to do 2 lines down, and it'll make 3 pieces. Sorry. 2 lines. So now I have 6 pieces of pie crust. And what you're going to want to do is keep them lined up, because those will be the most even fits for when you're combining them. So we're going to put our preserves just on 3 pieces. We don't want to put them on all 6, just on 3. So I'm going to open up my preserves. And like I said, preserves have chunks of fruit. So as you can see right here, there's a chunk of strawberry. And so I'm just going to take a regular spoon, and I'm just going to put a little scoop of it right here in the middle of the dough. You want to make sure that you don't overfill it, because you don't want your things to explode or to leak out, and so you also don't want to get too close to the edge, so that way you have enough room to seal up your dough. So we're just going to spread it around just a little bit, so that way it does cover a little bit more of the area. Okay, and then we'll do the same with this one. This one's a little bit bigger, so I'm just gonna put a little bit more there. So we're gonna just spread it out a little bit to where it reaches all our different corners, and we have a nice filling in the center. And then we'll do the same for this last one, and this one's a little bit smaller, So I'm gonna do a little bit less on this one. So put it right there in the middle. I think that was actually just a little bit too little, so I'm gonna do a little bit more. It's mostly a chunk of strawberry, so we're gonna add that in. So while we're doing this, if you want to comment below and tell me what your favorite flavor of Pop-Tarts is, go ahead and do that. My favorite flavor of Pop-Tarts is the chocolate chip cookie dough ones, but I had no idea how to try to make those. So I just went with strawberry, which are my second favorite. So now we have all of our Pop-Tarts dough'd up. Like I said, we only put it on 3. And then you want to make sure you leave enough room on the edges to seal your Pop-Tarts, because you don't want to put too much because you don't want it to explode. So what I found easiest to make sure things match up the most is you just take a piece right here and flip it over on top. And take this piece and flip it over on top. And then lastly, take this one and flip it over on top. And so that's how I found that it makes your dough line up the easiest. So I'm actually going to get a little plate so that I can show you guys up close how to do the crimping. So we're going to take our unsealed dough, and this one's actually a little bit too long, so I'm going to cut it right here just to make it a little more even. And so to seal our Pop-Tarts, we're going to do what's called crimping the edges. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to use a fork and just press it along the edges until you get all the way around your Pop-Tart to seal it all closed. So to do that, and if you look, you can kind of see this is our mound of preserves. So you don't want to press on top of that, otherwise it will push your filling out. So we're just going to take our fork and we're just going to press all the way down so it seals the two together. And we're just going to do that all the way around our Pop-Tart. That way we have a nice closed Pop-Tart and we don't have filling leaking out in the oven. So we're just going to go all the way around, like I said, and crimp. So press, press, turn to this side and we'll press. And we'll just keep going. Whoop, because see, I pushed it a little too far on this one and it got some filling out on the side over here. You can see that right there. So press, and then this is the last side for this one. And then we will press it. All right, and so now this one is all nice and sealed up. You can see all the edges are crimped around the sides. That way it is sealed in and none of our filling is going to leak out. So we'll move this one to our baking sheet. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. And we're going to crimp it all the way around. Just press it to seal it. Whoop. The edge of the plate's getting in my way a little bit. So we want to make sure that we fill it all the way, or we press it all the way around so that way none of the filling comes out. Like I said earlier, you can use whatever kind of fruit preserves you want in this, which makes this really nice and really easy to customize your Pop-Tart however you want. You can also use different flavors of frosting. When I went to the store, I really contemplated getting the rainbow chip, and I also saw the cream cheese frosting that would also be really good, or any kind of like strawberry frosting would be good as well. So this one's done. I'll show you guys. It's all sealed up around the edges. We'll move it to our baking sheet. Wipe this spot off, and then we'll take our last Pop-Tart and we will seal it off all the way around the edges. Whoops! So this one I pressed a little too close to the filling and I pressed some of the filling out. But that's okay. If that does happen, it will just bake like that, which will be okay. Like I said, you can cut it into 4 pieces if you want bigger Pop-Tarts, or you can cut it into 8 pieces if you would like smaller Pop-Tarts. But I cut it into 6 because I figured these were a pretty good size. So here's our last one. Like I said, I accidentally got some filling leaking out on this one, but that's okay. So we'll transfer this one to our baking sheet. And because we don't want to waste any of our pie dough, I'm going to take these rounded pieces, and I'm just going to put a little bit right here in the middle and fold them over onto themselves to make little rounded Pop-Tarts. Almost like little Pop-Tart bites. All right. So we'll put a little dollop right there in the middle, just like that. It's probably going to be too much because it's probably going to leak out the side when I seal it. So we'll fold it over onto itself, and then I will press to seal it just like I did with the others. So there's this one. It almost looks like a little pie. So then we'll move that one over onto our sheet. And then we have one more. We'll do the same with that one. And I'm going to put a little bit less of my preserves on this one just so I hopefully don't spill it. And I'm going to try to wipe it out a little bit too, spread it out a little, so that way there's a little bit more filling all over instead of just in the one spot with this one. That's how I'm going to do that one. So I did this one like this. I spread it all the way across in a thin layer. There's no chunks of strawberry in this one, but that's okay. And then I'm just going to fold it over onto itself like that. But I'm going to crimp it all around the edges like I have with all the others. So press just to crimp it, to close it. Just like this around the edges. So then that one's all sealed up, and we'll move it to our baking sheet. And since I forgot to preheat our oven, actually there it goes, it's ready. The perfect timing. So we're going to put these in the oven for 10 minutes until they are just lightly browned. On my other ones, I did them for 12 minutes and they are still pretty much about the same color, but they are solid like a Pop-Tart. So I'm gonna go ahead and do these for 12 minutes as well, just so that they have the same result as my other ones. So we'll put these in the oven, and be careful when putting things in the oven because ovens are hot and you don't want to burn yourself. So we'll put this in our oven. And set our timer for 12 minutes. So while those are cooking, I'm going to show you guys how to frost them. So that's why I had the other ones already baked and cooling, so that way we wouldn't have to wait for those to get out of the oven. When you are taking them out of the oven though, just be super careful to use hot pads to take the pan out of the oven, as it will be super hot. And then you do want to let your Pop-Tarts cool before you ice them, so that way the icing isn't just melting off of them. So that's a helpful tip. So we'll start with this one. I made a little round one like I did with the others. And that's the finished product. There's still some preserves left on this plate from when I was filling that, but that's okay. So now we'll take our frosting and open it up. Brand new frosting. And so I'm going to use this little butter knife to spread the frosting onto our Pop-Tart and then put it back onto our cooling tray just for purposes right now. So I'm just going to get a little scoop, just like that. Actually, I'm going to move that out of the way first. And I'm going to just spread it all across. I'm going to try to do like a normal Pop-Tart and leave the edges icing free. So, well, it worked on one side, but not quite the other. We're just going to spread the icing out until it covers the Pop-Tart to our desired amount. You can use as little or as much frosting as you'd like here, or you can leave it off completely. So here's our first finished Pop-Tart. It's got the frosting on it with the sprinkles in it. So we're gonna move it over here. And then we'll bring this one over. And the fun thing about these Pop-Tarts is that you can use a lot of different things to make this Pop-Tart taste really good. So I'm just gonna bring you guys a little bit closer so you can see it a little bit better. And then we're going to do the same thing on this one. So we're going to get a little bit of a scoop and we're just going to ice our Pop-Tart. I'm gonna get a little bit more than that on this one because it's a little bit bigger. So we're just gonna spread it all out until we cover our Pop-Tart to our desired amount. And there we go. I think that looks pretty good. What do you guys think? So now we're just gonna keep doing that with our other two that I have left. All right, here's the next one. As you can guys see with this one, it did get a little toasty on that side, so I think that's perfectly okay. When it comes to storing these, I would store them flat in an airtight Tupperware container to where they're not gonna be on top of each other. That way the icing doesn't stick together. And then on top of that, if you would like to heat it up like a normal Pop-Tart, I would not recommend sticking it in a toaster oven because the icing's gonna melt off if you do that. If you have like a conventional toaster oven where your Pop-Tart will lay flat, you can do it like that, would be a better option. So here's our next Pop-Tart. We just rub that icing all the way around. As you can see, I had some leakage on this one, but that's okay. And then this one is our last Pop-Tart to ice for right now. And we're just gonna take a scoop and we're just gonna spread it all around. So when I made this one, I did not do the flip over method when putting the icing or the pie dough on top. And as you can see, it's got some uneven edges, which is not a big deal, but it's just to make it look a little prettier in my opinion. So now that we are done icing all of our Pop-Tarts, we can start cleaning up. So we'll take all of our utensils that we used, so our spoon from our preserves, our fork from crimping, and our butter knife from doing the frosting, and we can put those all in the sink so we can wash those afterwards. And then we can put our tops back onto everything. So we'll put our top back onto our frosting, and we will put our top back onto our preserves. And then we will take our trash from our frosting and our pie dough, and we will throw those in the garbage. Or if you recycle, you can throw your pie box in the recycle. So now I'm gonna taste test this because I'm so excited and I think it's gonna be really good. And I'll let you guys know how it is. So the taste of the crust is pretty close to what a real Pop-Tart tastes like. So I'm pretty happy with that. It's got a good like flaky texture to it. So it just kind of like crumbles in your mouth. It's delicious. And then the sweetness of the strawberries from the preserves makes the pie dough taste a little bit sweeter. Same with the icing. It really just ties everything together. So hopefully I'll keep eating and get a chunk of strawberry in there, and I can't wait for that. I think this is a really fun breakfast and snack idea. So like I said, you guys comment below, let me know what your favorite Pop-Tart flavor is. If it's strawberry, awesome. If you try this, let me know how it tastes, and I can't wait to hear how you guys try it. Bye.